Hey, so I just finished watching Westworld season 4. Another season 4? That's pretty coincidence, but pretty funny. Um, I remember, I think season 4 of Westworld was better than I remember season 2 and season 3 to be. Um, so there is that. But I'm still not very happy about it. For one thing, it's not ending. I read somewhere that season 5 will be the ending, but they haven't even greenlit or started or whatever. And it's an issue because this has dragged on, the story has dragged on. It was being stretched thin. It should have ended a long time ago. And if you've seen some of my previous videos, you probably picked up I am sensitive to these endings. It's important to me. That is how a story is. It has a beginning, middle, and end, and you can get a cohesive experience. And you take that away, and then you have another one. So if my ending is being dragged like this, Westworld season 4, I'm not happy about it. Season 1, I think I will forever recommend. Saying, okay, if you want to see some good quality craftsmanship, storytelling, want to be engaged, season 1, and you can stop there. No one's going to fault you for not watching season 2 and 3 and 4, even though 4 then it's a little bit better, but it's still not ending. I remember showing season 1 to my mom, and she wasn't hooked, but I can recommend season 1 easily. Of course, a lot of things set up or established as like tropes or style, Westworld stick, gimmick, is kind of what's dragging it here. For instance, season 1 has some. I mean, it's also Nolan. It's Jonathan and not Christopher, or is it the other way around? I actually can't remember right now. I think this is Jonathan Nolan, right? Yeah, because Christopher Nolan is the one that usually makes the movie. So, I mean, there's Nolan in here. I really don't want to say, but so there's some twist, some things being set up, and I think it works in season 1 because it's the first time. That's kind of like how it works. It works the first time, and you're like, "Whoa, this is great!" Not because of the twist itself. I think when you're being deluded, oh, you tricked me. It's more like, wow, it puts everything in a new light, in a new perspective, it recontextualizes some things. I think that works. I think that experience is worth having in Westworld Season 1. Here in Westworld Season 4, it becomes a one-trick pony. And let me see, let me just refer to my notes. Yes, okay, so this time, the gimmick is that a character can predict the future based on having run simulation based on a lot of computer powers and data gathering, and the character can predict the future, down to smallest details. And in the beginning, the character is even like saying, "Oh, I need to figure out which timeline or which series of event is this." So, like, if someone picks up a knife or a fork or something insignificant, these are the clues in the beginning, and it's not fun. It's not cool. I think if you need that, you should have fun with it, like character predicting the future, like it was called Live Die Repeat. No, it was actually called Edge of Tomorrow. That was a fun story. How the marketing, the slogan became more prevalent, and people thought the movie was called Live Die Repeat. It's called Edge of Tomorrow. I think I can remember it. I haven't watched it in a long time, but it has fun with a character that can predict the future. So in a battle scenario, it's Tom Cruise, so be warned about that. But he has like no armor, and he just dodges grenades or bullets and moves little things around and takes out enemies with very ease. That is fun to watch for 15 minutes maybe out of a hour and a half movie. What was the other one? Was it called Next? What Nicolas Cage does it a little bit. Anyway, we're getting sidetracked. So Westworld, they don't really have that much fun with it, and you need to, because no matter how much fun you have with it or not, when you introduce a character that can predict the future, is all-knowing, the cost of that, like writing right, storytelling wise, is that all the stakes is there. Like, why would I be concerned about this character? Because everything's gonna go as predicted. That's how it is. And Westworld have to pay this price as well. I just going through this character saying, okay, you know what happened, and yes, the character's not surprised. I'm not surprised. It's not emotionally engaging. We're saying we're just going through the run. There's a lot of different characters that needs to be told, and it has to be vague because there has to be 10 episodes or 8, I think, 8 episodes of an hour. Be like, oh, you need to go there, or when you have to make a decision, go to the left, just to try and keep some suspense in. And I do not think it's working. It wasn't working on me. The show is also being way too into itself, I think, at this point. In its own iconography, it's all being all Westworld-ish. Like with the got to have a gimmick, got to have a twist, got to have something unique. And one thing that's coming up here is something called the Labyrinth, and it's because it's vague, it's not defined. It's something that a main character is looking at for some reason. Now, it persisted all through the seasons, and since I'm still recommending that you watch season 1, I'm not trying to spoil it. I'm trying not to spoil it as much as I can. So, but there's a labyrinth in weird places, and like a drawing of a labyrinth, a little circle, and the main character is looking for it, and then some of the people that are in the know kind of go, oh, but the labyrinth's not for you, and he's like, no, I gotta find the labyrinth, gotta find out what it means. And that labyrinth persisted, so they were like, oh, I have to return to the labyrinth. So in season 4 we have a building complex that is built in the shape of the labyrinth. It makes no sense. Like it's a circle, so it has little hallways and dead ends, and these would just be buildings that are making up the walls of this labyrinth. It's not very good. Let me see. We're getting into what I would call J.J. Abrams territory of having great scenes, like on its own. It's working great scenes of spectacle at the cost of logic and coherence. I think Jack Schneider, especially with his Justice League cut, the Jack Schneider cut, is very guilty of that as well. So you have a great scene that on its own, it's like, whoa, this looks great, but it makes no sense, or it doesn't work well with other scenes. It's not built up, it goes away. Kind of like, what was the term, a big-lipped alligator moment, to a certain degree. A big-lipped alligator moment, I think, is from All Dog Goes to Heaven. It's kind of like a writing term. It's a point, it's a scene that shows up out of nowhere, have no influence, and then just disappears, and no one talks about it again. It's a bit of a writing film critic term to say, wow, this is bad craftsmanship, or this would be addressed in a better product. Kind of like in Mary Sue, but we're getting sidetracked again. And it's not that bad, but it is, to a certain degree. We're saying, oh, look, the character does something spectacular, but it makes no sense. As an example for this scene, there is a character needs to get a MacGuffin, like, you know, an object of importance, out of a machine. It's like, oh, we gotta go, I need to take this thing. But the thing is sealed beneath a concrete floor, like underneath the floor, quite a thick concrete floor. Someone put this, like a graphic card or the CPU of your computer, the engine of a machine is underneath a concrete floor that there's no access to it. So the character breaks the concrete floor by stamping on it. But luckily, before, unrelated to this, the character got concrete floor breaking powers. And it's really weird. And of course, the pattern that the floor breaks in is the shape of the labyrinth. It makes no sense. it's a little fun visual flair, but it muddies the whole thing. And when you start thinking like, why would you make a machine, a computer, and then put things underneath the concrete floor? Like, I know you don't want things to get in there, but you have to do some maintenance, or you have to think at some point I need to get to this, and I don't have a sledgehammer or a leg equivalent of a sledgehammer. So there's stuff like that. Yeah, overall, I think that's mostly what I want to say for this Westworld Season 4 short mention review, whatever it is I'm doing. If you haven't watched Season 1, I would recommend that. If you watch Season 1 and you haven't watched Season 2 and 3, I don't think there's any reason to move on. So far nothing where I'm saying, wow, you have to experience that. Has happened, has been presented. And if you're waiting for the whole thing to end, it's not the time either. And apparently the ending is a little bit, will it happen, will it not? Yeah. So Westworld Season 4, I can't really recommend it. Well, thank you for listening.